What's up, YouTubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing. Hey, had to work today, had to brush the hair. It's craziness. Hopefully, I get to go out and do some fishing tonight. But before I do that, I wanted to go ahead and launch the final video here for Lake Fork. This is going to be for Zone 5, the offshore hotspots. I hope you guys have enjoyed these lake breakdowns. Let me know if you have other lakes you want me to break down. I'd be more than happy to do them for you. And make sure to go out and check out our site, simplisticfish.square.site. Let's get into this. Let's get rolling, and let's finish up Lake Fork. Here we go. Zone 5, Lake Fork. Now here we are. We're on our final video. We just talked about it. We're on Zone 5 and we're on the offshore hotspots. So a couple things just wanted to talk about real quick. If you missed the first couple videos, Zone 1 was kind of up here in this big caney arm. Zone 2 was right here, and then up this shoreline, basically all the way up to this bridge. Zone 3 covered us all the way up through that bridge and then back down here, down to this point right here. And then that was zones 3 and zone 4 carried us all the way back down to about that point right there. And then zone 5, we're going to start right here and really cover this area right in here. We'll talk a little bit about a couple of spots right in here that I like, but I didn't really mark those because I didn't want to overload you guys on spots, and those spots kind of look a little interesting. So anyways, I didn't mark them, but we'll talk about them. So let's go ahead and jump into this. If you missed those videos, just go out to the Lake Breakdowns on Simplistic Fishing's YouTube site that we have. Just go out there on our YouTube channel and you can find all those lake breakdowns. Go back, review them all you want. And if you want the card, so you can just take this, plug it into your graphs and have all of these spots, not the offshore spots, not only the offshore spots, but also the Google Waypoint spots. I have those cards available for you. It's on simplisticfish.square.site. So make sure to go out and check that out. All right, so let's talk about zone 5. So we're on zone 5. We're going to start right here on this little point. Let me back up just a little bit. I'm sorry, my fingers are having a hard time moving this morning. So we're going to start right here on this little point right here, and we'll work all the way down here to the dam. So let's go over here. Now I know that one of these areas right in here, Patrick Walters, this was one of his good spots. But if you look right here off of this point, and I've talked about it a lot on Lake Fork, there's a lot of really good points on Lake Fork. So really you could go out there and just fish points and probably have a decent day. So if you come out here, this point right here has a nice shallow top, 8 to 9 feet. You've also got a creek channel that's out here as well. So definitely you need to come out here and check this out. This is a really good point. Could be really good in the fall time as well. Let's see what they put in here. I haven't even looked at these things. It doesn't even say, but it's definitely a marker from the locals, so you'll want to take a look at that. But look on this point and really look around where this roadbed is. Where that roadbed is should be kind of your more hot spot area. So right in here, or if the wind's blowing, they may set up on this other little indention on the other side, depending on which way the wind's blowing. So again, use that wind to your advantage. Always be casting into the wind if you can. It will tremendously improve your bite. So moving on down here, again, I didn't mark all these spots, but just some spots to take a look at. See this little point that comes out right here? It's shallow on the top, about 12 feet, but it's real steep on both sides. I could see that being a really good area to fish as well. And then anytime you get these breaks, like out here by this island where you have this really steep break right in here, these can be good places to set up as well. So take a look at those. Pay attention on your maps when you see these big breaks like that. There's not a lot of them here in Texas. There's quite a few of them on Fork, but anyways, take a look at those because those can be good. Anytime you see these points, like this point here where it comes out, it's real shallow and then has a huge drop. That could be a good little secondary point to take a look at. Actually, I don't even know if I'm in a cove or the main lake, but anyways, you could take a look at that point. Now let's go ahead and move back here, so I don't want to waste too much time on this video talking about crazy stuff, but this point right in here, really like it. So shallow top, 12 feet on top, and then a nice break out here. And my guess is you're probably going to find some kind of debris or something right off the edge of this point, maybe some rocks or something. So take a look at that. And again, pay attention to where the wind is, and then make sure you're fishing into the wind. Again, you got a nice little break right there as well. Good little point here. I didn't see too much back up in here. It starts getting shallower once you get way up in there. So I didn't mark anything up there. So let's curve back. Let's kind of get out of this little pocket here because we're talking offshore. And if we come in right here, you'll see You've got a nice little point right here, and see all these little markers that are around here. I mean, it really, obviously it sparks your interest when you see that, especially when it's off the edge of a point. So go take a look at that. It looks like there's a brush pile right out here, right off the side. You've also got some local markers that are really close by. Again, it says a guide spot, so that's always good to look at as well. So anyways, work on that point. See if you can locate the fish. Now, the easiest way to do it when you go out there is go out there and pay attention where the bait fish is, the shad, the bluegill, all of that stuff. Pay attention to it where it is on your graph. If they're hanging out in 10 feet, that's the depth that you need to be fishing. So then all you need to do from that point is go to those points and really focus on, say, 10 to 15 feet or 5 to 10 feet, somewhere in that range. And you're going to have a lot more success, and you're going to find fish a lot faster as opposed to scanning that entire point. So as soon as you put that boat in the water, start paying attention to where those bait fish are. Start marking them. They're all going to be pretty consistent. Once you get a consistent depth with the bait fish, then half the battle has already been won there. All right, so I'm going to keep on moving on here. Moving on down, we got a nice little pond dam here, so I went ahead and marked that for you guys as well. Again, great summer spots to go look at if you're trying to catch some large fish out there on the old Lake Fork. You got another good point here with nice shallow top. These would be definitely worth checking out. And then here you got, some more markers as well, but I didn't mark those. What I did mark, you got a lot of stuff back in here. You've got a lot of different points and shallow things that you can set up off of offshore. But when you're talking really kind of good points, when I looked in this area, the really one that really stuck out to me was this one right here. A really nice shallow top. So, 18 feet, 15 to 18 feet on top. We've actually caught quite a few fish off this point as well, so I know it's a good one. You've also got a good creek channel that comes out here as well, and then you've got all these little markers. You can see this one. This one says all year round fish here, I think is what it said. So anyways, this is a great point to take a look at. I've marked that for you guys, so you'll be able to just roll up onto it and start fishing. Again, depth is key. You got to figure out that depth that they're at, and that's going to save you a lot of time, because this is another one of those that's a really long point, and you could spend 45 minutes just scanning the steepest point trying to figure out where they are. And that's even knowing the depth. So you've got to figure out that depth first, and that's going to save you a ton of time. All right, so moving on back here, I really like this spot back here. I'm going to take you back here. Again, another really good shallow point that comes off. Nice top to the point and everything. And what I liked about it was this creek channel bend. You see where this creek channel bend comes down here and really slams against the point right here? I really, really, really like that. So definitely go back there and take a look at that. I went ahead and marked that one for everybody so we can see that one as well. And then now I'm going to keep on moving up. Obviously good points here. I just didn't want to mark 1,000 points for you guys, but take a look at these. Anytime you see these little shallow tops like that, something's going on there. This one's got a creek bed by it too. This could be a really good one right here. And then we're just going to keep on moving up. The next one that I marked was right here. See how it comes off and makes a really, really good like flat point right here? It's got nice deep water access. We got 21 feet out here. And then on that top right there, it's only 6 feet. So you're basically going from 6 feet to about 20 feet. So you've got some type of very sharp drop off. So take a look at that. Also got some pond dams in here, but this one looked like it was way too shallow. And then if we come up here, you've got these points again that we're talking about. Shallow tops, 6 foot on top. And then right beside it, you got 24 foot of water. So there's some kind of a good drop, or at least a really steep bank in that area. So take a look at that. And when you're over here, don't know if you can get over here, but if you can, you might want to look just right in here and just kind of see what the world that is, because you got a pretty good ridge there. You got a really good ridge there as well. All right, so moving on down, another good point right here. I mean, I could mark every single point for you guys, but just when you're out there on Fort, pull your map up and look at these points. If it has that shallow top and it has that break that comes off at some point in time, and it's not just shallow, all the way forever and then just kind of tapers off. If it's sharp break like that with that shallow top, those are going to be the points that you want to focus on. So take a look at those. I didn't mark every one of them, but I marked the ones that I felt were kind of the hot spots that you need to take a look at. This one's definitely piques my interest. The shallow top, the big break right here, right by a creek bend. All those things are setting up to be really good recipes. So make sure you look at those. We've also got some pond dams back in here. And then I marked this one because I think this is probably going to be your best chance at catching some fish back here in this pocket is right here on this pond dam. So you've got the little opening right here with the creek bed, and you got a really significant pond dam here. It actually comes up to 5 feet right here, almost all the way out here. It's 6 feet, and then it has that big drop down to 12. So take a look right in here. Again, really good summer spot. And your hot spot on these pond dams is not this side, it's the inside of that pond dam typically. So go on the inside of the pond, almost as if you're fishing the middle of the pond and you're fishing the pond itself, and pretend that that is the bank, and really cast up on there and drag it down. See what you can get. Now, if that doesn't work, you can always switch sides and drag it back up. But typically, this is your primary hotter spot is on the inside of that pond dam, not the outside. Of course, there's a lot of different factors there too. If the wind's blowing just right, that could set them up differently and things like that. But that's just been my experience. All right, so moving on up here, another good shallow point comes right out here, right onto the boat lane. So I didn't mark this one. I don't really like when people fish out there right by the boat lanes. I think it's dangerous. We've got a bunch of crazy people out there going 70 miles an hour through those boat lanes. I would not want to be sitting there right in the middle of it. So, but this does look good. So if you want to go out there and fish it and risk your life, go for it. All right, so moving on down here, you got a really, really good shallow point that comes way out here. I mean, you could probably find fish out in here a lot. I mean, look at the shallow top on here. This all looks good. You've also got several different markers that are out here. You've got some rocks that are supposed to be right in here, I think it was. So if we zoom in, you can kind of see it's got the break and the roadbed right there, could be good. And then it's got rocks over here. It does say avoid and hazard. So my guess is you just don't want to come blowing through there, which you don't want to do that on Fork anywhere. But take a look at this because it looks like they got some rocks and some roadbeds back in there as well. Just don't fly up there. Go to the path and then shut it down and idle your way in. And then over here you've got kind of a good top and everything, but you got some good breaks at right here, and then you got a really nice ledge that's right here too. So take a look at this. This one's pretty deep. You're getting down into 25, 30 foot of water. But that did look pretty decent. I didn't mark any of these just because there's so many other marks that are out there, and this is a pretty obvious spot. You're going to notice that high spot, and you're going to start wanting to scan around those ledges and see where you can locate those fish. Again, wind is key. Pay attention to the wind. So then moving back in here, I really liked this. See where this little hump comes up? So you got 18 foot of water. You got a little hump out here, about 6-7 feet, and a real nice drop that comes right here with the creek bed beside it. And then if you move a little further back, you've also got another pond dam that's back here as well. So this would be a good area to look at. I would go back there. My guess is this is probably your high pressured area, right? Everybody's out here fishing. You're going to see them out there as soon as you pull up, but not as many people are going to be back here on this little hump would be my guess, but I could be totally wrong. Also, while you're over here, I noticed it says there's a pile over here, and there were some rocks that were out here as well. So it might be worth taking a look at. These rocks are really, really deep though. They're 35 foot of water. But it does have a fish icon there, and it does have a pile that's right over here. So it has potential to be a decent spot. I'm just not sure if it is or not. So then moving on down here, I also marked this point. I think you guys will like it. It's got a real nice shallow top, and then a nice break right off the side of it. So really, really like that spot. Obviously, road beds, we've talked about road beds a lot, but follow those road beds and then find out where, see these spots like right in here, or if there's ever any break where there's a culvert, those are going to be your hot spots on those road beds. But follow those road beds. They'll migrate up and down those road beds, and sometimes they'll be in the strangest spots, and you'll just wonder why they're there. And I guess it's just because they're really just relating to that road bed and nothing else. So make sure to look at those road beds. Those sometimes can be your best spots to find the lake. Moving on down here, didn't see too much back in this cove. We've definitely got different breaks and things like that. Some different points to take a look at. I like this right in here. I believe it's some kind of a fishing facility that you have out here. And if I zoom in here, you'll see it's got a pretty good break that's right here on the edge of it. So take a look at that spot. That could be pretty good as well. And then as you come out here, I did mark this one, another good flat top of the point. Pretty good size, and then a really nice indention right around in this area. So take a look right here. You're looking up here to see if they're up here feeding. If they're not up here feeding, they're going to be back down in here. But usually if they're not up on top and feeding, they're a lot harder to catch. So if you can catch them up here, on your finder, you're golden. You're going to catch some fish. If you see them down here on your finder, it might be a little bit tougher. It really just depends on how they're feeding. Now, if all the shad and all the bait fish are out here as well, you're in good shape. But anyways, just I feel like I'm mumbling here. So let's keep going on down. Didn't see too much around in here. Just really good breaks and stuff like that. But then we get here, really like this. Real good point, shallow with a nice drop off on the edge, goes down to 18 feet. So looks really, really good. So definitely take a look at that. I marked that for you guys. Here you've got a creek bed going back, but I didn't see too much going on. Maybe that point right there would be worthy of taking a look at, but that's about all I saw. I liked over here, you got another fishing facility, and you've got this point that comes out 12 feet on top, and there's some real nice breaks with that fishing facility out there. There's got to be something decent out in that area. Moving on down through here, I'm going to zoom back out so you guys can see where I'm at. We're getting closer down by the dam now. So coming out here, you've got this long point as well. Now this one comes out, it's got shallow tops pretty much all over. I mean, you could probably scan around in here. And if I remember right, there's timber just all over the place in here. But take a look at this, because this is a really, really good spot on Fork. It's somewhere where, when we were in the Skeeter tournament, there were a lot of people over here. I think I actually saw Billy over here one time as well and said hello to him. So there's something over here that's got to be good. If Billy's over here, it's good stuff. So here we go. We got a nice point that comes out. I like how it has the deeper stuff on both sides. That's really cool. So definitely take a look at this hump, and take a look back here on these bends. If there's a road bed back in there, it says there is. Take a look at that as well. This would be a really good offshore spot in the summertime right now to go out and start looking at. Also right in here, you got the same type thing. You got a road bed that's back in here. You got a little hump that's like on top of this big shallow flat. So take a look in here. This would be a good area to look at as well. Could be a really, really good spot. And I believe actually Scott Martin was back in here somewhere when he was out there fishing and caught a really nice fish right in this area. So take a look at that. There's also some good stuff in here. You'll see this has a little marker, January and February, fish the steep ledges. So if it's January and February and they're fishing steep ledges, we're getting into middle June, getting into July. It's going to start getting hot. Our water temperature is starting to get up closer towards the 90s. So those fish are going to start pulling out. So these are great places to look at anytime you can get these ledges. So these points that have the breaks and the ledges, those are good spots. All right, so moving on back in through here. Didn't see too much going on there. Right here, I did mark this little area right here, and only because it has like a little creek bed that comes here, and it kind of makes an interesting little point that's back in there. So take a look at that, and take a look right here off this point too. I just don't know where that creek bed actually comes and swings, but it looked like it actually swings up against right here. So take a look at this whole area right here. This could be a good area to look at. And that pretty much wraps us up for Zone 5. I think I'll take us back down here. I don't know if I covered this on Zone 1, so I'll just cover it right now. But you've got a little point that comes out here on the dam. Go down here and take a look at this. This is some deep water, but hey, that can be where you can catch some really big giants as well. So go down there and take a look at that. And again, go out to simplisticfish.square.site. Make sure you get your card. I've got all these points on the cards, so you guys can just put them into your graphs and you'll be on your way. I've got the digital files as well as the cards, so go take a look at that. And if you have any recommendations for new lakes, please let me know. Our next lakes that we're going into, we're going to talk about Joe Pool, so we're going to break that one down. And then we're also going to go back out to Lake Ray Hubbard and mark the offshore hotspots so that we can put those on some cards as well. So until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Hopefully you've enjoyed these breakdowns for Lake Fork. That was a fun one, probably the most in-depth one that we've done. Really looking forward to doing more and appreciate all your support. Until next time, tight lines. Hope you catch your PB.